Hello, Insomniacs, and welcome to another episode of Hello, Insomnia. My name is Steven Gutierrez, and today with me on the episode, we got Christy Points.
Hey, everyone. What?
We got Jerry P.
Hello there.
And we got fresh and new Galen. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you so much for having me on the show and letting me, tell some scary stories and crazy stories with you guys.
New year, new dude here.
Yeah, new year, new dude.
There used to be another one. We don't remember who he was.
No, everybody remembers him.
That's another mystery.
That's another mystery. What happened to our other
Tune
host?
in for episode 2.
Yep.
Did I
I'll
kill
never
him?
tell.
Did Steven kill him? Who knows?
Ooh.
I'll never tell.
That's one of our background mysteries that we have on the show. So you solve it.
Starting with season 2, we're gonna actually drop a short story for you today, right? Researched by Jerry, right? This is all you.
It's all me. I put this on here on the document.
Have you
What
heard
are we
this
in
story
store
before?
for, Jerry?
I was watching and looking it up while I was typing things out. So I hope everything's in place and timeline. But let's dig right into it. Let's hit it, Chris.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Let's get it going. So without further ado, here's the mystery of the Bamboo Valley.
Here we go. So the mystery of Bamboo Valley. In the 1980s in Japan, located on the island Hokkaido, and on this island of Hokkaido, they have a national park named, please forgive me, Daisetsuan.
Daisetsuan.
Yeah, Daisetsuan. And this is nicknamed the Playground of the Gods. It can be found in several mountains, but it is placed on the tallest one called Asaidake. And this is well known for hikers. So it's a really famous spot there. They're hiking all those trails out there in the world, exploring it. So they'll start this trail. Seems to be pretty straightforward. They go in a line up this mountain, and once they kind of take the path for a minute, it starts to get a little bit tricky. As they're going down this path, they eventually reach an area on the trail where things start to flatten. And flatland, you think you're in for a really nice hike, and not too long after, the trail starts to split. The way on the right trail is a great place to look for a really well-known landmark. And people use this landmark. Sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, it's the way there's a wrong trail and there's a right trail that they're trying to follow. So it gets a little tricky at this area.
Sweet.
And
Why wouldn't you just put a sign that says "Don't go this way"?
Yeah.
that's the whole thing that everybody says on this story. Why don't you guys throw signs?
Just wording
That's
this
the
path
thing.
bad.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
Graffiti a little bit.
Paint it red. Something like "Don't go this way. Stay on
They
the red
say-
path."
look
Don't
for
hide.
landmarks.
I'm just thinking of that, what is it? Don't dead, open inside kind of vibe.
Yes.
Here we are hiking down this trail, and everyone knows there's the right path and the wrong path. And apparently there's this huge square rock, which has been nicknamed Safe Rock. And once you reach Safe Rock, because why have an actual sign when you could just identify a fucking rock?
No.
There's
and
the
when
rock.
Once you see this rock, you'll see the path to follow it up, and you'll be able to continue on your hike. However, fun story here. If you take a wrong turn, there's another rock, which many people confuse with Safe Rock. Because once more, why do we not have signs?
It's not the safe rock. This is false rock.
This is false.
This is
Safe
this
Rock.
is
correct.
You were actually spot on. So there's Safe Rock, which is a huge square rock, and then there's another huge square rock, but this one is nicknamed False Safe Rock.
I did not make this
These
up.
names
I
are
did
very
not make this
clever.
up. They really called it false.
Where do we want to
Safe
source
rock.
this again,
Jerry,
Jerry?
are you sure?
I did not make
sure
this
you
up.
didn't just get drunk one night and it's a fucking rock, and that one's safe. But don't
Season
go the
2
other rock.
of Hello
Like-
Insomnia is
like-
jumpstarting Jerry's writing career. Welcome,
Yeah.
Anyways.
everybody.
Both of these rocks are in shape of squares. They're both huge squared off rocks. So they're hey, if you see this rock, it's the safe rock. But if you beat off the path and go this way, there's another rock. That's the false safe rock. Don't go there.
Don't
It's
do
a-
it. because it will
They don't
lead
put,
you away.
and they don't have signs for it too. So
Of course not. And of course they're not different colors. They
Just
probably like maybe have a couple of different fucking shades.
Pigments.
Oh my gosh. I'm dead. Yeah, different pigments. So if you
once again, did not make this up.
Were
okay,
they?
Jerry.
Are they naturally square, or did someone like
Yes,
carve them out? Oh, okay.
it's like a natural thing.
How large are these square rocks? Like, are these people-size square rocks? Are
They're
these like
huge. They're huge, like landmarks.
so they're
like,
boulders? Okay.
yeah.
How could they
Who
tell the
needs
difference?
signs?
How do they
Oh.
know that they've reached false safe rock or safe
And-
rock? You know?
Well,
Also,
if you
can we
reach
talk
the
about
rock, you're alive. If you go to false safe rock, you just die.
Can we talk about why are there two naturally square rocks on different paths as well? Like, do they just
Aliens.
naturally sprout up? It's
Just
a
like a
whole
tree.
conspiracy.
Natural
Yep.
phenomenon.
Natural
That's
phenomenon. You're right.
aliens.
You're right.
Square
That's the episode. There we go.
There
Square
we go.
Enix.
So if you take this path on near false safe rock, it'll lead you away from where you're supposed to be. And many travelers and hikers have mistaken this rock, false safe rock, because who saw that coming, and take this path. They'll either end up missing or they'll be lost for long periods of time. About a mile down, the trail leads downhill into another flat area. This area is spread out for miles in a huge, thick bamboo forest named Bamboo Valley. Once people walk far into this bamboo, it's really easy for them to get disoriented and lost. So let's speed up to July of 1989. Two men from Tokyo decide to go up for a hike on Asai Take Mountain. Once they get to the part of the path where it splits, they somehow mistakenly, just unintentionally take the path of false safe rock, thinking it was safe rock. They eventually follow.
They missed all the neon signs that pointed to
Yeah.
Yes.
saying, "Hey, go this way."
They forget to read the part where it says false, because it's not there. They eventually follow this path long enough to eventually make it down into Bamboo Valley. Later that night, family and friends are a little concerned. They haven't heard from them. They haven't seen them. They haven't returned from hiking. So they notify the police, who send out a search party the following day. On July 24th, 1989, they're still continuing this search. A helicopter pilot flies over and notices a big open clearing near the search location with a big sign with 3 huge letters spelling out SOS. I'm sorry. So the bamboo forest, they can make a sign, but these false rocks and these safe rocks, it's impossible
Hey.
to, spell
They were
out
like,
false in some other rocks.
You're not lost yet.
They're straight up
That's
like,
it.
yeah, these rocks are good enough. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think the SOS was made by the guys that are lost.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
saw that coming?
If only they had some spray paint, they could have labeled
Right?
the rocks.
Don't do this
So-
way.
You have this giant SOS suspiciously out there in the middle of a bamboo forest. So the pilot immediately notifies the rest of the search party. Several hours later, they find 2 gentlemen coming out of the bamboo. They look worn, they look beaten up, they look like they've been starving for days. The men are sent to the hospital, and later on, the pilot goes to visit these 2 men to ask some questions, because the pilot mentioned, like, hey, it was really smart to create this SOS sign to notify our location, almost like we should have done that with the rocks to begin with. But the 2 gentlemen look at each other in confusion, and they tell the pilot they had nothing to do with that symbol, with the SOS sign. The pilot starts to get a bit confused, and they notify the authorities to search the area again, because somebody made it, right? And if it wasn't these 2 men, who was it?
Yeah, clearly.
It was the Rock.
mystery.
It was the Rock asking
The
for
Rock
help.
did it.
Yep. Dwayne Johnson's out there. He's
False
found
Rock
You're
is sick.
welcome.
Yeah,
My 2
False
sons.
Rock is sick and living in the shadow of Safe Rock. All right.
Yep.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson was out there. Nobody's dying. All right, I've seen
Yeah.
his movies.
Is he the safe rock?
He's
He's
the
the Safe Rock, and then False Safe Rock is Kid Rock.
That's terrible.
Just all the rocks are there. So the next day, the searchers go back out into the area. They try to search for another missing person. After a while, some of the search members find a hole near a tree, and in this hole, there was a backpack that was buried. They started looking into this backpack, and the items that stood out were the driver's license and an audio recorder. The ID belonged to a man named Kenji Iwamura. Kenji was known to stay at a nearby lodge 5 years earlier. In 1984, Kenji was staying there for a day, even after he was supposed to check out. So the lodge manager goes to Kenji's room, finds out it was still locked, surprised he didn't check out on time. And so then the manager proceeds to open the door with their master key. When the manager opens this door, he notices that Kenji's belongings are still in the room, which he found odd, and that's when he realized that Kenji must have gone out on a hike, and maybe there was some trouble since he hadn't returned for the rest of his things. So the manager notified the authorities. They try to search for him, and it eventually gets called off, and there's no luck finding Kenji. And so that was back in 1984. So now we're here in 1989, where they're still trying to find this mysterious person.
Current time.
Exactly.
1989.
So a young Steve has been born.
Oh, damn. The authorities listen to the voice recorder of a man's voice in distress. He's pleading for help in Japanese, saying he's stuck on a cliff and he can't move, saying he was on a spot where he saw a helicopter, saying that the bamboo is too thick and he can't see anything, and shouting out, "SOS, please lift me out of here."
You know, if you understand Japanese, it's there.
The police start putting all the pieces together. They realize the backpack is in proximity to the SOS. They know that Kenji must have been the one that made this SOS sign. And later on, they set up another search team to see if they can find and potentially locate Kenji. Eventually, they find a skull a little further up from where they were. And so they think they've solved this mystery of what happened to Kenji, who got lost in the mountains 5 years prior. And they think he's passed away, but no confirmation on how he died. So they close the case.
Yeah, open and closed case.
Wow.
Everything was
They've
like,
got a skull.
they're like, yep, here we
But
did.
that's
We
it.
They
found
didn't
him.
do any tests or anything?
Yes.
Skull? They're just like, yep, skull.
Boom.
All right, case closed.
Found skull, backpack.
I wonder what kind of
SOS
genetic,
sign.
like DNA testing did they have back in 1989?
Oh,
I
that's
mean, in
true.
the 80s, it was pretty popping.
Pretty poppin'.
Things were happening.
Yeah,
Things
but
were
were
happening.
Were they DNA
Well,
testing?
can't they do like dental records?
They didn't.
That's valid. I don't know how that works in Japan, though.
I think they're big on blood type. I can tell you that.
Okay, but they have a
And
skull. Can you get blood type from a skull?
I
The bone marrow,
Oh.
go.
inside
Jerry, you're in
inside
school for this. What?
Marowak.
For Cubone.
We'll see.
So
Just keep
after
reading.
after a while, people in Japan have started following this case. They've got questions about it because everyone's trying to figure out, was Kenji even the one who made the SOS sign to begin with?
Because that was the biggest thing in that area. So from what I've heard from,
In the
that was-
Bamboo Valley?
that was like the
In 1989.
that was like the Benet Ramsey case. It was just all over the news all day, and people kept looking into it, trying to solve it.
Who is Kenji?
Who done it?
Who did it? Who made that SOS sign? It was made of 19 birch logs, around 16 feet each. Damn, Kenji had some upper body strength. Upon further inspection, the logs seemed to be cut cleanly with tools that Kenji did not have with him. He didn't have an axe or wood-cutting tools in his bag at all. Police couldn't find it anywhere near it. So they even asked, like, how would Kenji even move all of these logs around, let alone, didn't have the tools to cut them down? So these logs are 16 feet tall. The SOS location was over several hundred feet away from where the birch trees were. So when people start thinking about it and the amount of effort required to even cut these trees down, drag them, roll them, create this SOS sign, each log that needed to be moved to the location would be a tough task, even for somebody who was well fit.
I forgot to mention it was 16 foot tall each of these logs, and the circumference of 10 feet around.
Jeez.
Jesus, that's
So
crazy.
Those are some giant trees.
it's like, imagine moving these logs by yourself. That's why everybody's questioning, like, how the hell would he do this by himself?
Yeah, I've seen
Do
those
that.
logger shows. There's no joke.
Mhm.
Let me give you a background story of it. Like Kenji. Let's see. Kenji was in a lodge. Then he went to go hiking.
Yeah.
And then he went on this trail. then he meets that path where it it forks off into two roads. So he went to the wrong false safe rock. Anyways, and after hiking that for a mile, he gets to the bamboo forest. And then after that, he noticed he gets lost. And then like he keeps walking, and these are like you're still on a mountain. Every time you go down, there's like divots, like it just keeps going lower and lower. Like he's going downhill instead of going uphill. Safe Rock is leading you uphill to Asahidaki uh, mountain where you're supposed to go. So this is where he's actually like going downhill, but he gets to a part where he's on a ledge where it's just a straight like fall down. So
Like
so
sheer
like
drop. And that where they said he
yeah,
saw?
he went on a ledge and then dropped down to another ledge, and that's where he was stuck at.
Oh.
That's where he was trying to call for SOS. Like if you listen to this video recording, he's saying like I'm stuck, I can't get up, I need a lift out of here. I can't. There's no way for me to like
So
move.
how the hell did he move those logs?
That's why everybody's saying these logs are like he needs to cut whole ass trees down like 16 feet high, and they were like cleanly cut to like somebody had these logs out there and moved them.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
And on top of that, they said they found the bag in a hole, right?
That's
Somebody buried his
suspicious.
backpack
Yeah.
in a
With the
tree.
voice recorder.
That's super sus.
Yeah. So it's like everybody's trying to say like, what's going on? And the police, every
Ooh.
time they say something, they just close the case out and be like, we don't know.
Yeah. So all of these things, and like think about it though. So the family members come out to say that the voice on the voice recording didn't even sound like Kenji. And there was another note that the skull was found earlier was tested and not even actually Kenji. It was linked. The skull itself was actually linked to a female with blood type O. So after that discovery, everyone is questioning the police again. They're trying to understand what's going on, but there's no answers. The police aren't giving any kind of information, and there's all this bad press at the police about how the police have handled this case. Um, Eventually, they make a breakthrough and they label the skull actually had type A blood and belonged to a male.
What?
So it went from belonging to a female with type O, and now it belongs to a male with type A, which conveniently matches Kenji now.
That's so suspicious.
And then
And
they
the
just
case is
closed
still
it.
closed.
Wow.
It's like nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Go back to the safe rock.
So the thing is, people are saying Kenji was not alone out there. Something happened. Somebody made that SOS sign, and somebody else was on that voice recorder because the family came out and said that is not Kenji on that voice recorder because we know his voice.
That's
It's so weird. Like, I want to
crazy.
know.
Yeah.
And the story just ends there, and I was like, there's no more to go off on. It's just a mystery that's hasn't been solved in Hokkaido, Japan.
Oh, shit. Okay, so if this is the same thing, I'm looking for images on the Bamboo Forest Mystery. And there's pictures of the SOS.
Yeah, there is. There's huge logs.
This does, like, this is the aerial view, and it looks like
Oh yeah.
it just
That
looks
is
like a
not something one
huge-
person made.
No.
I mean, all right. Well, I mean,
That's what everybody's
Those
saying.
are giant
How
ass
could he do
logs.
that?
I
Yeah.
mean, Tom Hanks
The
did
person
it on
that-
the island.
All
The
right,
person that
Tom
did the
Hanks and his like
autopsy was
entire
like-
entourage.
He had Wilson,
of
okay?
movie people.
I've
Yeah.
seen the documentaries. Okay, he was trapped on that island with a ball. Okay,
For him to move 16 foot, 10 foot wide logs and 19 of them just to make that
That's-
SOS
yeah.
sign by
But
himself.
I mean, what else you
That's
gonna
a lot
do?
of work.
It's either die or try. You know what I mean? So
So somebody translated the
Yeah.
message too. It says, "I can't move from atop this cliff. Please help. I am near where the helicopter was originally. I can't move further due to bamboo brush being in the way. SOS, help me. I'm on a cliff and can't move. Hoist me up. Please get me out of here."
Yeah, you could You could hear this online if you guys are
I
interested.
don't know if I
in
want
hearing
But it
some of
didn't
that
sound like
distress
Kenji, so
call.
it's not like whose voice was it?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
still another one. Like,
it's not
oh,
Kenji's.
And it
and
was
it's,
on a
it's in
Walkman tape.
Japanese, so
It's not.
I
It's
mean,
not Kenji's. That's the thing.
you know what's crazy is I went into this thinking this was just like a creepy pasta or something, but no, this is an actual thing. Like
That is a story. My
what
lord.
the
No,
hell,
this
man?
is a mystery.
This
It's
is
a real
why you
mystery.
don't go hiking. One, by yourself, and two,
Absolutely.
and like what GPS
Well, tell that to
tells
one of
somebody
our
where
friends
you're
that like to
going.
go
You
hike.
need to do the buddy system. You gotta have a in case I go missing folder that has all your fucking passwords and shit. Yeah, get a string and some rope. Fucking Hansel and Gretel some shit. You know what I mean?
Drop some
Find your way
trail
out.
mix on the
Oh my
way.
gosh.
Let's go around. What do you guys think happened to Kenji?
It's interesting though, because like all his stuff was in the hotel. I mean, like somebody could have murdered him. Like the fact that the backpack was buried, there was somebody out there who at least at some point,
He had a hiking pack on.
yeah. But like they can grab that from the hotel to make it seem like that dude was hiking. I think maybe he was hiking and maybe somebody found a dead body and they're like, I'm not gonna get blamed for this shit. Buried the skull. That's the thing is also they
But
didn't
that's a
find the rest of the
lot.
body.
That's a long way to go from that lodge to hike up the mountain.
But
from
also
there.
they didn't find the rest of the body.
They don't even know that's his real skull. That's probably not even his real skull because they thought it was a female with a different blood type. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like one of those like murder suicide packs with like Kenji and his girl who
Yeah.
took a hike together.
Wow, he
murdered
murdered.
her.
I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah.
missing.
Well, he recorded
But they said that
he
wasn't
recorded
him.
the audio. She didn't record the audio.
Yeah. So there was probably another young man there, and there's a female skull. So he
Oh,
might
this-
have walked
okay.
upon this murder and see like that dude killed this chick, and then they killed Kenji and buried his stuff near a tree.
Also, I'm so curious, like if you can cut down, I'm just thinking about like those are giant ass logs. Like why not build a structure that gets you enough height at that point to see how to get out of this forest?
It's not Minecraft.
What?
They can't just put things together like that. I don't know. They're out in the middle of
Built
nowhere.
a giant ass SOS sign.
It's also, I mean, it's bamboo, right?
No, it's birch.
Oh, it's birch. That's right.
Well, the
right.
trees were birch. So they had access to fucking birch trees. Why didn't they climb up the birch trees? Look over the fucking bamboo.
Yeah, they had to walk miles through the bamboo to get into this clearing, and several hundred feet away, there's a birch area where they had birch trees, and they had to drag those. They had to cut down those trees and then drag it all the way to this clearing and lay it down. Like even like the fittest of person could not do that by themselves in like a day, or like it's just so much work.
Oh yeah. Have you seen the lumberjack games? They can barely do it.
16 foot by and 12 foot around. That's crazy.
Another kind of thing to think about too is since they are in bamboo, there are such thing as bamboo spiders, and those are very poisonous. So it is also likely that it's possible he could have, been stuck on that ledge during night. Spiders came out, he was bit, fell sick, and somehow, body, he died. Body went somewhere, decomposed, and they likely could have found someone else's skull, who fell victim to the same thing, because the spiders in bamboo are very venomous. From what I've heard, my friend growing up, he had a bamboo kind of little mini forest in his backyard, and his mom would always say, "Don't play in there. There's very dangerous spiders in there, so beware if you do go in there."
But they found after they found the two missing persons, like Kenji was missing already for 5 years before that.
That's insane. 5
So-
years.
So he would have probably passed away, and no one would have known, or he would have moved on and lived a new life. I don't know.
But also, I'm thinking about it. So he's on that ledge. He's recorded that. He did that 5 years prior to the two hikers when the helicopter was there. So does that mean there was another helicopter 5 years prior that he saw?
Probably.
The
I wouldn't
Bamboo
doubt it,
Valley
to be
just has
honest.
a helicopter on standby.
And there's no clear telling of when this doesn't know when the SOS was made within that 5 years. So
That's crazy.
I don't okay, because whenever somebody goes missing, I know at least over here in the States, we send out helicopters all the time. So say Kenji did go missing 5 years prior, right? And he saw a helicopter. It was probably the helicopter searching for him because he was still reported missing. They just never
yeah,
found him.
Yeah.
the lodge manager did notify the police.
Yeah.
They did go search for him, and then they ended that search pretty quickly.
So why did the helicopter 5 years later find the giant ass fucking SOS sign,
Right?
but the one 5 years prior didn't
Maybe
find
5
the
years
giant
ago,
fucking
it was
SOS?
just half an S.
You're not wrong.
He didn't complete it. Yes.
It took him
Yes.
5 years. Wait for the
Yes.
trees to grow.
Something that heavy, that big, like he probably, after he's seen that helicopter, if Kenji did find a way down, this is probably what he started making this thing.
With all that effort, I would have caused a forest fire. I don't care.
You would have burned
Honestly,
to death,
can you
and
burn
then nothing
bamboo?
would have
I
happened.
wonder if he found
Well,
like a
they'll
big
find
boulder
me.
or anything, because you said they go downhill, right? So if you pick up enough momentum with rolling a boulder, maybe you could take out a tree or something.
But they said in the report it was cleanly cut, like with tools.
Yeah. So like,
No,
and he
in the
didn't have
backpack
anything, right?
or anywhere in that area where they found the backpack, there were no axes, no wood cutting, anything.
Mhm.
Because if you're a hiker, you're just gonna go up there with like a water bottle,
Mhm.
like, and
The basic necessities.
I don't know.
Not anymore. Now I'm gonna take.
I know.
a
Back in the day, there was no
fucking hatchet.
smartphone, so he had a audio recorder. So
Yeah, you gotta take a flare gun.
He had a
all right?
Walkman.
You gotta take your pocket saw.
Burning this
all
bamboo
right?
down.
Swiss Army machete.
Ready to become an arsonist today.
It's either me or the bamboo, and I'm not dying today.
Hey, he was on a cliff.
You could just blame it on a gender. You can just blame it on a gender reveal party. It's
They found
a
fine. You
vape
didn't get
pen on him?
lost. We're just trying to find out the gender of your.
He was on a cliff, so if he would have had something,
Yeah.
he could have signaled that helicopter.
they said he was on a ledge where he couldn't get back up to, so he was stuck
Why would he go down though? Like down a ledge?
because it was downhill. Like he thought he could just slide downhill, but then it just started getting steeper and steeper
Interesting.
until where it's just a straight drop.
This is why you don't go into nature.
Yes.
Congratulations. The theme of this season is don't trust fucking nature,
Yeah.
y'all.
Don't
That was
trust
the
the
plan
outside.
all along.
Yeah.
We were trying to scare you with nature.
Nature's real.
Just
the
stay
real
inside.
danger.
The world is safe there.
Fucking Shang-Chi forest over here.
Anybody else need anything to say on this story?
Well, I hope they fucking spray painted that rock.
Yeah.
Like, that's my biggest concern. Like, again, I thought this was a bullshit story. I was thinking, like, you found a good creepypasta.
Oh no! Wow!
Like, this
That's-
rock needs to be spray painted today.
That's the first thing I'm gonna do when I go to Japan. Where's this rock at?
yeah. Just giant X on it. Just false
I
rock.
found the picture of false safe rock.
I like to imagine that some people have actually spray painted it and somebody goes out there and like, nah, we want them to get lost in the bamboo
Yeah.
forest.
Here's false safe rock for you guys.
I gotta click on this false
Now
rock.
we're
thing.
safe rock. I need to know. Oh wait, I found it. I think I found it.
Which-
Here we go. There's safe rock.
It
for
looks
ya.
exactly the same. It's the same picture.
I told you I did not make up the name.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking picture.
Yeah.
It's that image from The Office of like corporate wants you to find the differences between these two pictures. It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
There is no safe rock. It's just false safe rock. That's the legend.
Like, what? Why is this a thing? It's just like, come on, just a giant X saying this is not the right one.
They don't want to disrupt nature.
Turn
maybe,
around.
Preserve nature the way it is.
That dude put a giant SOS sign. Do you think they left it there?
You want to
Like, do
take
you
a
think
hike
they're
out
like,
I
there?
hope they did.
Just in case someone else
It's
gets
time
lost.
to go find out. Hello, Insomnia
No.
first field trip. We all get lost.
Hey, let's go.
I'm taking an axe, a machete, a flare gun, a GPS
Some fire.
locating, system.
We get
But just bring a helicopter. Like, what do we need the rest of
we
this stuff
get
for?
one item, a
What is this,
helicopter.
naked and
There you go.
afraid.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm
That's how I
bringing
feel
the
when I
pot
get out of the
lid.
shower without my glasses.
Yeah, that's just,
Bring in my Instapot.
And they never found out who made the SOS sign. It's still a mystery.
No, that's a mystery too.
Wow,
Kenji's still a mystery.
that's insanity.
And why they never marked it is another mystery.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is there signs out there now?
I hope
so.
It's been
Yeah.
1989.
Okay, so I clicked on another picture, and then it's literally got signs with arrows, but it's in Japanese, so I can't tell you. Like, but it's literally, well, it's two signs, one with the arrow pointing left, one with an arrow pointing right. So it's like, why would you just identify? It should have something that says "death that way." This is the way to go. Like,
It's just fine. If you have your phone, you just Google Translate it. You're good.
Sign pointing downhill, you fucked. A sign pointing uphill, you
Exactly.
safe.
Oh shit.
Easy
Okay, hold
done.
on. Oh no, this is a different place. Kurodake? Is that where we're at?
No, Asahi Dake.
Okay, yeah. So this is different. But there it was a picture of a rock that has spray paint on it. But it tells you how many miles, I'm assuming, because it's just M.
Okay.
Or meters maybe?
Just put a skull sign. Don't go here.
Exactly.
I will say though that I don't know how to say the name. Daysituzen National Park. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I got to give it credit.
Yeah, we're
for
just
that.
there
I'm
for
looking
the
at some of
views,
the pictures
man.
right now. It's lovely, but dang, it doesn't it just doesn't give off like dangerous vibes.
That's how they get you. That's how the forces get you.
That's how you end up dead.
You'll be
So we
making
know
your
who
own
will fall for the
SOS sign
siren
soon.
songs.
Like, oh, we
C.
lost Galen. He
It's so
fell in love with
beautiful.
the park, jumped in.
Nope. Hey, I can't.
When he's not here for the next episode,
It's so
you know what
beautiful.
I can't
happened to
play
everybody.
Overwatch on a mountain, okay, guys? I'm not going on a mountain.
Said I'm not going outside.
Home is
Hella
where the hard
valid.
drive is.
Also, so I went to the Japanese wiki because I'm so curious on their perspective of it. And they have a section with the SOS made of fallen trees. And they made a point to say that the man who left that message was considered to be an anime fan because he used cutouts of anime characters in the case of the cassette tape. Like, this made it
Oh,
into
I
the
need to
wiki
know what
article.
anime.
Wow.
Jojo.
JoJo.
It was something from Tezuka Osamu's work.
So there was
So
anime on the
Excuse me,
audio
Will.
recording tape.
It
Anime,
was the anime
stickers.
creator.
it says it was reported that Tezuka Osamu's work had a scene in which fallen trees were lined up with the SOS. Oh, so now it's just a part of culture.
Oh,
When you see the
yeah.
SOS sign in
That's the
anime,
thing. That's the
it's
thing.
for the weeb.
They take they take real things and put it in anime. That's the thing. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, we kind of do stuff like that too. I think that's just a human thing at this point. We take
it's a famous story. Like,
It's kind of a
if
little
you think
fun.
about it, like
Um,
children's songs and stuff were like "Ring Around the Rosie," that type of shit. Like that's
Yeah.
all based off of
Super scary.
dark stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Muffin Man song. There's like based off a murderer. And it's like all
The
this.
first time I found that, I was like,
Yeah,
what?
there's tons of like lore behind those type of things. So it makes sense that they would take something that happened, to their, society, their country, and influence it in their culture and their works, their anime and stuff like that. It makes 100% sense. We do that shit all the time as humans. So, oh man, this story is
There's so many questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a
Yes,
mystery.
it's a big
I
mystery.
feel like I watched an episode of my favorite TV show and they didn't like tell me like concrete details to give me closure.
Yeah, that's the problem with Unsolved.
There's no
man.
closure. That's the thing.
I mean, I don't like to think, but there's got to be a lot more people that are probably just lost in this forest. He probably wasn't the only
Yep.
one, and probably it's probably an amalgamation of people that have been working on this SOS sign.
There's a whole village of lost people.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, how crazy would that be if you're just lost and all of a sudden you came into like a crew of lost people?
Hey.
You're like, hey, I'm lost too. And they're like,
It just turns into that movie, The Village, where they just start a whole new life.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's just like welcome back to rural Japan. Like this is life now. We live this way. But no, those people
Sounds
all
amazing
probably
to me.
died, and It's
Yeah,
just, you know, you
sadly.
continue the work of somebody else.
Their backpack is buried somewhere else in the bamboo forest.
I just feel so bad for their family members because like they have
Mhm.
no closure, they have no answers, they have nothing, and it's like that could drive someone up the wall pretty
And
good.
it's been about
You
32
just keep having
years.
hope.
As
Yeah.
long as I've been alive.
Yep.
Damn.
Well, no.
Oh, 5 yeah, 'cause
years
the other
before
two
that.
went missing in 89. That's right.
Wow.
So even longer.
In 84.
89 is
yeah.
when the
He
story
meant-
actually
And
came
so
out.
those
Yeah.
those two people that they found, they got lucky because
lucky.
somebody else's work, possibly Kenji's
They're
and
like,
this other lady.
they're like, what the hell are you
Yeah.
Just
talking
like
about?
someone's
SOS?
left behind SOS and saved someone else. It's low key hero shit.
Yeah, man. But that's a crazy story. I mean, oof.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna have me thinking tonight while I'm laying
Yeah.
in bed for sure.
And that's the whole point of this show. It's to keep you up late at night, can't sleep, keep you with those nightmares.
That is so interesting. Well,
Reminds me of why I'm not going into
Yeah.
nature ever again.
yeah.
I mean, I think does anybody else have anything else to add to that? Like that's nuts. But
Jerry, I look forward to your first novel. This was A+ quality content.
What a twist! I
Yep.
thought it was
There you
bullshit,
go.
and then it's a real factual thing that happened, and like it's just shocking.
I give credit to this YouTube Mr.
Yeah.
Ballin. I saw this story on him, and I wrote the story based on that and other
sites. A quality resources.
Well, in college they don't want you to say Wikipedia.
This isn't college.
Yeah.
In Japanese Wikipedia. Wikipedia has our resources now.
I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy the story. I did, that's for sure. Good job, Jerry. Good job. And on
You're
that
welcome.
note, I hope you guys enjoyed this mystery into the Bamboo Valley, and you guys stay frosty.
Or just stay out of nature like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a smarter idea. Later.
Bye, everyone.